Morning guys, welcome to Bitcoin Bounce. So today I'm going to mark up the Ethereum chart with you guys for educational purposes only, and so that you can see how we trade. And once we've done this, then tomorrow and for next week and so on, we'll all be using the same chart, and you guys can see where we got it from originally and amend and add new things as and when we get to it. Okay, so starting with Ethereum, I start on the weekly chart. Also just to remind you that you must just load the chart for your exchange. So we trade with Bybit. So this is the Bybit chart. So if you're with OKX or Binance or whatever, then you have to obviously load those charts. They're very much the same, but there are small differences here and there. So it's better to trade, mark up the chart on the exchange that you trade on. Then we use TradingView, and what I wanted to show is down here at the bottom there's this object tree icon. If you click on that, then you can file your drawings under folders so that it doesn't get too overwhelming, and you can just look at whatever time frame you want. You can turn them on and off, or just turn them all off and just look at the chart like this blank chart now for the time being. So I've marked it all up already just to save some time, but where I would normally start is with the support and resistance lines. So those are just the horizontal lines, and as I said yesterday when we did the Bitcoin chart, originally I did those. I would like put one up there, one down here, one up there on the big highs and lows and so on, until eventually I just found that it's so accurate to just put them on the actual rounded off bank numbers. So for Ethereum that would be like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and then the in-betweens, so 1,500, 2,500 and so on. And I also just, when I start out, I just do it around the area where we are currently trading. So we're at this point now, so when I turn those on, these are the ones that I've drawn up. And then also just to show you the colors, so I use the same colors on all charts, so that whenever you open any other chart that you've marked up before, you can immediately know, okay, the yellow is my 1 hour, the pink is my 15 minutes, and so on. So you always know where that line came from, so how strong, and obviously if it's been around on the longer chart. So if there's a trend line on the weekly, it's obviously a stronger trend line than you would be on the 15 minutes. So you can immediately also just judge the strength of that drawing by the color, and you get used to your colors. So that helps a lot if you're starting out, just to do it this way. You pick your own colors, but always use the same colors for the same time frame, so that helps a lot. So that's where I would start. So here's 1500, 1600, 17, and then 1550 and 1650 at the moment, or the zones we're trading in. Then I would also just see if there's anything else, any other patterns in that on that time frame that would make sense. So the only thing I spotted on Ethereum was this symmetrical triangle, and then there's this zone here that every time we come to that, it looks like quite a strong support and resistance zone. So I just marked that out on the weekly. So as I say, even if we're on the 15-minute chart and you quickly flip through and you see, okay, we're in quite a strong resistance area at the moment on the weekly, then you have a good idea to rather trade a short on 15-minute chart. So that's basically all I could spot that I picked up on the weekly. Then if we go down to the daily, so on the daily we had this parallel channel that we were trading in. So we had 2 touches to the top, and bottom side we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So normally when I draw it out, I would first try to get the stronger. So I got this one from the bottom, so I would first get the stronger either support or resistance line. So because this had more touches, I thought, okay, this is like a more solid, reliable zone, and then I would then just pull it up and say, okay, does it actually form some kind of a triangle, which it then did. So preferably you would want like 2 touches at least, but 3 and more would be better. So it's not to say that we're definitely trading in this parallel channel, but that's kind of all I could spot on the on the daily specifically. There also these two highs, but for now, pattern wise, it's kind of the only thing I wanted to make a note of. Then moving down to 4 hours, also there was very little. I also just found this little channel here that it looked that we're trading in that parallel channel, this tight little area. They're gradually going to the upside. Then on the 1 hour, there's always on the 1 hour there's a bit more that one can find. So first of all, I found also another. You can see that I like the parallel channels. They work very well for me, so I always look for them first. So there's this parallel channel on the 1 hour, then also a symmetrical triangle on the 1 hour, which is still holding and now getting to a point of breakout. Then there's also an ascending triangle, which we found on Bitcoin as well this morning. So that looks quite strong. This is normally quite a strong pattern because it's continually trying to break this zone to the upside and making higher lows. So this is quite a strong pattern on Ethereum as well. And as you can see, it's got a bit more time left, where this one here was coming to crunch time to pick a side to break out of. But that's also why it's good to keep them all. So every morning you just flip through them when you open up your charts, and you can see, okay, this one has now been invalidated or whatever, and if you think it's no longer viable, then you can just delete it. But say you're trading this one, so it kind of has to make a decision soon, where this one here could still bounce for a few days. So it just might give you a heads up if this one breaks out first. So that's why it's a good idea just to keep all of them. That's why I keep them all hanging around. And then after I've found the patterns, I just do the levels for the 1 hour. That's kind of from the 1 hour where we would open most of our trades. So if you get a good 1 hour into it, also becomes normally or mostly a good 4 hour trade or a good day trade, if you could get a good 1 hour entry. So that's mostly where I would be looking. So I would zoom out a bit. So this is the current area that we're trading in, and then I would just mark the big highs and lows that we made kind of around in the past around that trading zone. So I had these highs that we made, we made a few lows, and it was kind of where we had a bit of resistance before we broke through here. And lower down this area here, we've had lots of touches. It was quite a strong area there to try and break up, and we eventually did. It kind of held for quite some time. Here again we tried to break into it again, so it's kind of quite a nice area. And then higher up, these were kind of the last highs we had, so these would be potential high side targets when we start breaking out. We would first come to, so the major kind of highs. So I just try to, obviously there's so many different, you might see it totally differently, but these are kind of the areas that I would pay attention to. So you can see, yeah, I know these would be the main two at the moment, and then I would zoom in on that area on the 1 hour and see if there's anything specific happening. And you could see here that this zone here we've tapped into quite a few times from the top, and it's held as support, and that one there we've also hit 3 times now, and we haven't been able to break through. And in the middle there's this zone that we've also has been support and resistance for quite some time. And then I also just like to, there must just be some kind of percentage, so 2% for me is kind of good between these zones. You can't have them too tight, because there's like a little zone in there as well. You can see a few times that it's been hit, but it becomes they're not really viable to trade anymore. There's like too little in it. So it's just a guide. So around about 2 to 3% would be cool. It gives you something to shoot for, and yeah, you can't just make lines everywhere, then you're never actually going to get into any trade. So I can delete that just to kind of give you guys an idea. And then also Yeah, I just spotted this trend line from this last big high that we made, and we've come back to that. Yeah, it was kind of rejected, and then again, and a few times more. So something like that, I would then just leave it as a just an indicator when one is looking for trades. And so from here I would then go to the 15-minute to maybe like really find a very good entry, or just to do scalp trading. But this is normally where one would look for your trades to start a good trade at a good position. And these are just kind of options that I've marked out from where we are at the moment. So you would take a long when we come back down to this zone. You would look for a long there. Just be patient, because at the moment we're kind of in the middle of nowhere, or on the breakout of this line one could consider a long. And if you get to that zone, then consider a short, or breaking under this one a short, or breaking above that one a new long. And these are all like kind of on the hour time frame. And if you wanted, if that was too quick for you, you could still just find an entry on the 1 hour and then move out to the 4-hour chart, and turn all these 1 hours off. But you could just find a good entry there and then manage it on the 4-hour chart. I just want to turn these levels off to give you an idea. So if you had your entry in the 1 hour, then from there on you can just manage it on the 4-hour or the daily if you don't have that much time to watch charts and to trade. I think that's basically all I wanted to show you around. So we're going to from now on be using these charts on a daily basis, so then you know where we got the levels from and the charts from. What I also still wanted to show you, maybe, so say you're doing 15-minute trading, what I would do if you do find a position, so say you wanted to take a long here on the 15-minute chart, scalp trade to the top side, I would then just flip through all of them. So if you flip through the weekly, it would then say, okay, be careful, there's a resistance area coming up here. And if we had the other weekly, okay, this is not going to influence you much. The daily, we kind of trading in that zone. The 4-hour, you could maybe have a quick squeeze it and say, okay, you could maybe get a bit of position if you just wait a bit. So I would just flip through all the patterns before getting into even a scalp trade, just to see if there's of anything that you spotted previously. If there's something coming up like this one is fairly legitimate on this middle line, you can see how many times it's acted as resistance. So getting into a long, yeah, you might not actually get much further than that. So it would then just clue you into, maybe just wait for a breakout of this chart. So you want to take on the 15-minute chart, you want to take this long trade, but you can see you might just be stuck there and break back down and your stop loss gets hit. So I would just flip through all of them and see if there's anything of the previous charts that is directly in conflict with what I want to do on the 15-minute chart for argument's sake. So that is, I think, covers most of what I wanted to tell. As we go along, we'll use these charts again, and if there's anything else that comes to mind, I'll mention it then. Great, guys, thanks for joining me, and we'll have a good day. We'll see you guys tomorrow.